Welcome to In Her Voice. My name is Kelly Covert, and I am passionate about helping women live authentically by listening to their inner voice. Get ready to be inspired by women of all walks of life that have set aside their should-bes and not good enoughs and are standing in their true voice, the voice of wisdom that each and every one of us has inside. Hello, friends. It's Kelly. And you have to excuse my morning voice because it's morning here and I'm recording at 8 a.m. And so I haven't had that much talking yet today, but I think that will be okay when you hear what I am talking about today. Today is about how much your mindset matters. And this is not so much going to be, this is how to change your mindset, or this is what you need to do to move forward. That's not what this episode is about. This is about just bringing your attention to why your mindset matters, to how important it is to be aware, to be mindful of your thoughts and how they're affecting you on a day-to-day and moment-to-moment basis. And I was really inspired to talk about this because I have been doing a block of interviews for In Her Voice. So I've been doing, 4 or 5 or even 6 sometimes interviews a week for the past 2 weeks. And first of all, let me just say they are freaking amazing. These women blow me away. They blow me away, and I feel so honored to share space with them, to spend time with them, and to be able to bring them to you, because what they're saying is so important and is so life-changing. And yesterday, both of the interviews that I did really centered on this idea of mindset. And in the interviews, actually, my guests really talk more about sort of the practical tools and everything, but it got me thinking that it's worthwhile just to talk about what mindset is. I mean, and I think it's one of those kind of things like, well, like, duh, everybody knows what mindset is, but do we? Are we always aware of that? And so basically, I think that mindset is how we are responding to our thoughts. It's as simple as that. So we all have thoughts, thousands and thousands and thousands per day. And those thoughts aren't always under our control. We have so much programming in our mind that produces the thoughts, that come to our mind. And here's a perfect example. You look in the mirror and what's your first thought? Okay, so that thought is not something that you intentionally created. It's something that pops up there because you've thought it before, or you're trained by society to think that way or whatever, particularly if it's a negative thought. And I think that that's the way thoughts go. It's much easier for our brain to go to the negative place than it is to the positive place for a lot of reasons, evolutionary reasons, society reasons, right? But really, when we're talking about mindset, what we're talking about is how you respond to those thoughts. So it's not so much about the thoughts themselves, okay? And it's not so much about holding yourself to the standard where I shall never think a negative thought. Listen up, you guys. That is not realistic. That is not going to happen because our thoughts sort of have a mind of their own. Really, I heard someone once refer to our thoughts like a 2-year-old. Like they're just all over the place and it's hard to control them. But what we can control is how we respond to those thoughts, how we react to those thoughts, what we say and believe about those thoughts. That is what mindset is. So when people talk about mindset, that's really what the essence of it is. So here is an example. So I used to go to this church and I loved it. It was a really great church, and the pastor there would always say things like, "This is a spiritual truth. So it applies to everyone, regardless of what you believe, regardless if you believe in God or not. He was like, this is true for everyone who walks the earth. And I loved that. And he would talk about often one of the spiritual truths that he taught about was stinking thinking, is what he called it. And he was like, if you have stinking thinking, then your life is going to reflect that, you know? And it's not just, remember, it's not just the thoughts. So the thoughts are there, but it's how we respond to the thoughts. Okay, so I thought of a couple of stories that I wanted to share with you that would perfectly sum up the way that our response to our thoughts helps us or hurts us. So I have an email list, and probably many of you are on it. If not, you need to go sign up for that. You can do that on my website. You don't need to, but you would like to. I say cool things in my emails most days. And I really try to connect with my email list. You guys, I try to send an email to you once a week. And in February, I sent an email on Valentine's Day, actually, February 14th. And then for some reason, it kind of got away from me. And then I started listening to my thoughts. The further it got away from February 14th, like the more weeks in between when I sent that email and when I wanted to send another one, my thoughts went something like this. Well, they probably like it better when I don't send an email every week because they're busy and, you know, they're probably listening to the podcast anyway. And, you know, maybe they don't even open them and their email inboxes are so full and I don't want to bug them. Like all of these negative thoughts were coming up whenever I thought about sending an email. And my response to them for several weeks was to believe them, to use that as a reason to not send an email. And you know, the really interesting thing when you dig down into those thoughts is I have no idea whether those thoughts are true or not. All right? I'm making those thoughts up in my mind. I'm creating a story about you, about the people that are on my list. I'm just making it up. I'm like flat out making it up, making up a story. And then using that story, those thoughts, to determine my action. Whoa. I mean, and when you really sit and think about that, you know, that's crazy. That's crazy that those thoughts kept me from doing what I really actually wanted to do. I wanted to send an email out, but I allowed those thoughts and my reaction to those thoughts to keep me from doing that. And they weren't even true, or I don't even know if they're true. And here's the thing, maybe it is true. And I have hundreds of people on my list. Maybe it is true that some of those people probably wouldn't open the email or, you know, would roll their eyes and be like, oh, here's another email from Kelly. But the thing is, that doesn't matter, because the thing that stopped me was not those people. It was my reaction to that thought, that story that I made up that probably isn't 100% true, because I know that there are people who would like to hear from me. So my mindset got in the way. My mindset decided, hey, I'm going to believe these thoughts. I'm going to let these thoughts, these negative thoughts, affect me and affect my actions. Here's another one, because I wanted to give you two examples so you could really relate. And here's something that I'm still working through. So you guys know I love CrossFit and I do CrossFit. And one of the things that is sort of an element of CrossFit is box jumps. So it's literally where you like jump from the floor with 2 feet onto a box. And sort of you can do it on all size boxes, but the regulation, sort of the standard size for women is 20 inches. And I am terrified of these. I am so scared of them. And here's the thing. I've done them before. I've been working on them, and I literally like have to work myself up into like a heart beating frenzy. And then I do it and it's fine. And I do it and I'm safe. And I'm like, have no problem getting on top of the box. But my thoughts say to me, Kelly, you're going to fall. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to mess up. And no matter how high I jump, no matter how high I know I can jump, I still have those thoughts. And so I stand there in front of that box, not jumping, because my thoughts are telling me you can't do it. And I'm choosing to believe that. So my mindset is a mindset of fear. My mindset is a mindset of failure when it comes to those box jumps. And here's the thing, you guys, that can become reality. That can become reality. If I have decided I'm going to fail at that, guess what? I will fail. I will either fail to do it, or I will like show my, prophecy will come true by hurting myself. And so you may ask, am I working to get over this fear? I don't really know. That might be a fear that I just allow to stay because I don't know if I want to do the work, if it's worth it for me, if it's worth the energy for that. And this is me just being totally honest. And here's the thing about mindset. I can acknowledge that mindset and I can say, yeah, that's what's keeping me stuck. And I can still decide that I want to keep that. And a lot of times this is what happens to us. We say, yeah, you're right. My thoughts are keeping me stuck. I'm believing things that aren't true, but I don't want to do the work around that. Yet we still have a deep calling, deep desires in our lives to live a different life than we're living. And so the question that I want you to sit with is, are you really ready? Are you ready to change that mindset? Are you ready to have a growth mindset? Are you ready to have a mindset of courage? A mindset of worthiness? Are you ready to respond to thoughts that say to you, you are not good enough, that you will never be enough, that you will fail, that people will laugh at you, that you are not lovable? If you are ready to respond to those thoughts with, that is not true. I am worthy. I am lovable. I am capable. I am amazing. I am beautiful. That is the mindset that will change your life. But you have to acknowledge it. You have to be mindful that only you have the power to make that decision, to decide which thoughts that you're going to believe. And once you make that decision, you can brush away the thoughts that don't serve you. It's so much easier. It's so much easier when you start to acknowledge that those thoughts are not you, that those thoughts are not the thing controlling you, that you are the thing controlling you. It's so much easier to sort of pick and choose the things that really matter. So this is what was on my heart to share with you guys. I hope that it makes a difference for you. I hope that you really sit with this idea that the thoughts are not you. The thoughts can control you if you allow them to. So it really comes down to you. But you, each and every one of you, are powerful. And you are smart and you are wise and you have everything that you need to choose a mindset that will move you towards the life that you most want to be living. Please honor that. And remember always, you are worthy.